Well, we are back. I have told you guys that I was demonized, and we're going to get into it. Black people, we just don't have no friends. I mean, even the people we elect don't even want to stand up for us, and it's just a fact. I don't care what you folks out there say. It's just a fact. Hey, you guys, I'm Donovan Sadiq. I'm unapologetic because I am out here to wake the masses up and at least, get the message out and make you guys think on a little bit of a different level. That's the problem that we have in our community. It's either my side or no side. So we're going to talk about that. But one of the biggest questions that I have is, where are them Kamala Harris Biden supporters? Where's those Chucks and Pearls folks? Where are they at? I'm going to put out a BOLO for these folks. So you guys that don't know what a BOLO is, that's be on the lookout. An APB. I mean, they were so vocal, shooting those of us that had a different opinion, was saying hold the vote. And, we going to hold Biden accountable 100 days. And this man sat up there in your faces and he told you about everything he did for everybody else except the very people who put him in the White House. Black people. We're going to talk about it, y'all. We are going to talk about it. I'm Donovan Sadiq. As you guys know, I am on the Demetra K Show. And by the way, with Demetra K, I taught her everything she knows, by the way, because you guys, if you guys happen to follow her, she's on YouTube and Facebook. And I'm also on the War Zone on YouTube and Facebook. And it's just been a lot of stuff. I've been getting a lot of kickback. I've been getting a lot of feedback. Even some of the baby boomers, okay, my mom included, they also have to admit that they were wrong. Well, my mom didn't want to admit she was wrong, but she was like, she has to agree. How did the Asians get a bill on the very first try for a narrative that wasn't even really true? We've been trying to get an anti-lynching bill, an anti-black hate bill since the Civil War. The Emmett Till bill is still sitting in the Congress. Can't pass. George Floyd bill, symbolism, as we keep telling you guys, symbolism, is sitting there. Derek Chauvin got convicted. That should have been overwhelmingly obvious to everybody. There was a wrong and an injustice and it needs to be fixed. Nope, not to the white supremacists. They were like, no, we're not going to let this pass because, it's about keeping black people at the bottom. It's about keeping black people at the bottom. So, as you guys know, in that discussion, as Biden bragged about what he did for everybody but black people, the Republican response was they go send their bootlick and boy, Uncle Tim Scott out there. And Uncle Tim Scott said, basically, there's no racism in the United States. The United States is not a racist country. Now, we all know, being black people, and for those people that are just woke, this country was based on racism and keeping black people at the bottom. Everybody knows that, right? Everybody jumped on Tim Scott. Everybody jumped on Tim Scott saying he's a Sambo. I mean, they said all kinds of derogatory things. And again, what's crazy about that is the fact that black people held, and rightly so, held him more to task because he's not on code with them. It's just the same as these Biden supporters or these black folks, and you tell them you're not voting Democratic. I mean, it's just crazy how they come at you because you're not on code with them. You know what I mean? And it's the same thing, right? So they're tearing this black down. And don't get me wrong, Tim Scott's a piece of shit. Okay, he is a piece of shit. He's a scumbag. I've got some questions in regards to this dude. He's never been married. He's always with a certain group, and and if that's his cup of tea, own it, Tim Scott. Own it. If that's what floats your boat, no problem. But anyway, that's just my own issues with that. As everybody knows, I am not an avid supporter of LGBTQ. Okay. And what I mean by that is you're not going to see me go out there and support a gay pride parade. You're not going to see me do any of that. You're not going to see me fund a gay pride, gay anything. That's just not my cup of tea. Whatever. Just as it is not some people's cup of tea to support Black Lives Matter. I don't support Black Lives Matter either. You see what I'm saying? So nobody's going to guilt me into not supporting certain groups of people. I will say this, though. I will say this. Do I have LGBT, friends and people like that? Absolutely, I do. My problem is, why is it that you have to tell me what your preference is in the bedroom? I don't care. Because you guys definitely don't want to know what my preferences are in the bedroom. You don't want to know that. Trust me, you do not want to know that. Just, so anyway, let's get back on topic. So they're just giving this guy the business, right? And and rightly so. They're holding him to task. And then the very next morning, Kamala Harris is on Good Morning America. And she basically says the same exact thing. Silence. I hear nothing in regards to memes or, the same thing that they did to Tim Scott. Okay. Some people say, well, we got to hold our own accountable. I'm all for that. Blacks need to hold black accountable. Okay. There's no doubt about that. Tim Scott, we're going to hold you accountable. Kamala Harris does it. All the excuses start pouring out. All of them. And I'm just like shaking my head. So since, all these Sororos and folks dogging out Tim Scott, right? So I go and I'm on it right now and I'm looking at it right now, okay? Because I don't want you guys to think that I'm just like some bad person, right? You would think that Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated would put out a statement. And I know some people out there will say that, oh, it's not their job to put out. Wait a minute, but it was their jobs with the Chucks and the Pearls. You know what I mean? It's an enigma how we give certain things a pass and certain things don't. I'm not saying that they have to cut down their butter biscuit person, the person that they identify with that gets them money and they could be proud of. That ain't what I'm saying. But you can chastise that person. You don't have to dog them out like I do. You could say, hey, Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority, we do not agree with the statements made by Kamala Harris, blah, 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 blah. Such our sorority sisters Kamala Harris. There's a way you do it, right? So I'm on their webpage right now, and you guys can go to it. It's called aka1908.com, aka1908.com, and go to the press room. Isn't this funny? And the reason why I'm bringing this up, I want you guys to please understand this. This is why I am bringing this up. I'm calling out the hypocrisy. Because as we know, to sit in silence is basically condoning the behavior. Okay? It's basically you're agreeing with it. You are agreeing with it because you're doing nothing about it or making a stance. If I had been accused of killing somebody and I don't say anything, I don't defend myself, I don't do anything, there's a good likely chance I could be convicted of killing that person even though I didn't do anything. Okay, we know Kamala Harris is an AKA. She's a member of Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority. She's a member. So what a member does is reflective of the group. Am I correct? Am I correct? You active duty military members out there, Guard, Reserve, whatever. Guard and Reserve is active. You're on the clock. Okay, when you are out and about and you do dumb shit out and about, are you still not a member of the United States military? Do you not still reflect the values of the United States military? Of course you do. If you're a member of a pro team You see it all the time when NFL player, NBA player, WNBA player, whatever, does something that's detrimental to the team, even though they did it on their own time, they are castigated for it and sometimes even punished. So aka1908.com, go to the online press room, and here it is. And, I just want clarification for myself, because I refuse to believe that this prestigious sorority, and I'm going to get on the CBC, so don't think I'm done with anything. This prestigious sorority would co-sign on what Miss Harris said. So I'm on the webpage right now, and the first thing I see is 20 Pearls, documentary film about the first Black Greek letter organization, now available nationwide. And that was put up March 31st, 2021. No mention of Kamala Harris's statement. Okay? So that was Friday. Kamala made those statements on a Wednesday prior to this Friday. They're not saying a thing. They still have Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated declares Kamala D. Harris Day ahead of VP-elect making history as first woman and African American to hold office. That was January 20th, 2021. So let me get this straight. You can put up 20 pearls on March 31st, but on April 28th, you didn't, well, it's been a whole month. It's been over almost a whole month. You didn't put up anything. You're silent. There's nothing here. They are basically silent. So, and by the way, I want to give a shout out to my little sister out there, Kayla. This sister is woke. I'm talking about, she's doing it. She's a writer here in Los Angeles. I mean, just, she's doing the damn thing, and she's the little sister of a friend of mine, which makes, we're all one big family. I want to give her a shout out because, she always asks me, different questions in regards, and I am always impressed when I see our young people doing the damn thing for themselves. And it ain't like she's against all odds and all this other stuff, but when you see somebody out there getting it, and I'm talking about in life, when we talk about independent women, she's one of those. I mean, literally. No, she's not like these alpha female, I don't need no man type. She is like living her dreams and doing the things, she wants to do. She went to a HBCU, like my niece. These are independent women. They're doing it on their own terms, and they're unapologetically Black, and I love that. And every time I visit with her and I check up on her, I am visibly impressed at her audacity to do what she does, and she does it well. And I'm always telling her, hey, you can do that if you want to. You can spend $400 on your hair. You could have a Mercedes. You can be this, and you can go here and you can go there. You want to know why? You don't have any kids. You are a single Black woman. You can do it because you don't have the baggage that comes with it. And she's not about the drama. People call her a cutter because when she's done with you, she's done with you. I love that. I love that because that's kind of how I am. Once I move on, I move forward. So it's just a lot of stuff that is just, there's hope, so I am not, bridled by the fact that, oh my God, we're never going to, do this and things are never going to change. And, I am never, taken back by anything like that. So go to the AKA page again, aka1908.com. And I'm going to do this on my video show as well, because I don't want you guys to think that I'm hallucinating or something. Hopefully they will put a statement out, but there ain't no statement. They're silent. So your silence is complicit. So obviously, and I know Kamala doesn't speak for the AKAs. She doesn't do anything of that nature or whatever. But you would think that, and I'm very sure there's a lot of AKAs that do not agree with her statement. But it tells you a lot. We told you about Kamala Harris. I told you, the 5-star general told you, Demetrius told you, all kinds of new black outlet people have told you. I mean, Roland Ball Martin isn't even saying anything because what can he say? Cursing at us, talking about we don't know what we're talking about. We don't know politics. We don't know this. We don't know that, right? Roland's been silent for 100 days because you know what it is? They're still waiting for Biden to do something so they can say something. But Biden ain't doing anything. So again, I can get into debate all day. I'm on the Congressional Black Caucus website. And the Congressional Black Caucus website, if you go there, and you can go there, cbc.house.gov, and they call themselves the Congressional Black Caucus, but they really should be calling themselves the Congressional Everybody Caucus because they don't do anything for black people. Okay? They're talking about, if you go to their page, if you go to their menu, whatever, talk about what do they stand for? Reforming the criminal justice system and eliminating barriers to reentry. Do you guys realize that the young people, the Generation Xers, or not, that's my generation, the Generation Yers, my children, the millennials, my children would be my children's children. These young people that are in the streets have done more to reform criminal justice and eliminating barriers to reentry than the very people who sit at the table of power. And some of them have been there for over 30 years. Big ups to Maxine Waters, because when the Chauvin verdict came, just before the Chauvin verdict came out, she was in the streets with him. And I didn't know this until I actually did my homework. Maxine Waters is not a baby boomer, which goes to the fact that sometimes, for some folks, black does not crack. Y'all saying, what y'all mean she ain't a baby boomer? My mom was a baby boomer. My parents are baby. My parents are in their 70s now, okay? 70s. My mom is a baby boomer. My dad is a baby boomer, okay? Maxine Waters is a silent majority person. Those are the people born before the baby boomers. Maxine Waters was born in 1938. Miss Maxine will be 83 years old in August. Go ahead, Maxine. Go ahead, Aunt Maxine. I will give her that. She was in the streets. And notice when she was saying that we need to agitate more, we need to do this more. Did you see how quickly both the Democratic and the Republican Party was quick to try to censor her? Maxine, why can't you do that more often? And you do want to know why they were so quick to censor her? Because she has that power to move those masses and to get the people riled up. By her being in the streets, it justified the other regular people being in the streets. Maxine, even though you don't live in your district anymore, even though you live in a $6 million home, even though your district is one of the poorest and most neglected in the United States, I'm going to give you this one for standing in the streets with the street fighters. I'm going to give you that because, like I said, it's not fair to criticize you only when you're wrong. I got to criticize you when you're right. And you were down there and the halls of power shook to try to do something to you and make what you did an issue as if it was wrong, because you have a right to your opinion just like anybody else. And they were afraid not of what you said, it's what you could have done. And we need more leaders, not like Maxine Waters. No, not like Aunt Maxine. Okay? Think about it. If we had unapologetic leaders that ain't putting up with it no more, how fast do you think we would get legislation and all this other stuff? Even though Maxine was in the streets, I'm still waiting for her to write some legislation to change some stuff, put some more teeth in the George Floyd bill. The George Floyd bill has no teeth. It's symbolism. Okay? Voter suppression. They want to combat voter suppression. Well, all these states keep passing laws to suppress the vote. Where y'all at, Congressional Black Caucus? Everybody Caucus, where y'all at? I don't see you guys on a 24-hour presser bringing these issues up. You guys know Warnock is going to lose his seat in Georgia. That's gone. Why? Because you didn't deliver anything you told the people you were going to deliver to get those votes. You told the people 2,000. You reduced it by 400 on what Trump had already given with the 600. So that was a lie. I mean, we're going to lose it. Warnock is out of there. Expanding access to world-class education from pre-K through post-secondary level. Congressional Everybody Caucus. See, that's what I'm saying. They do things for everybody. It is statistically proven that when black people incorporate themselves into everybody, they are the least likely to benefit from it. The affirmative action was specifically put into place to help black people catch up to white people and give them opportunities, to which a lot of our parents got opportunities that had never opened the door before, right? However, statistically, and you go by the numbers, the one group that benefited more from affirmative action than anybody else wasn't black people. It was white women. Wow, the very group of people who are already in a class of privilege. But they benefited more than anybody from affirmative action. How come the Congressional Everybody Caucus doesn't talk about that? Where is the specific legislation addressing black people? Again, I told you guys about how a lot of baby boomers and my mom and my elders of that group, they do agree with me, if anything, on this. How it is not right that the Asians got a bill on the first try for a narrative that does not exist, and we can't seem to pass anything when it comes to black. And they have no answers as to why did that bill pass, but our bill can't pass. So you mean to tell me 58 members of the Congressional Black Caucus can vote for an anti-Asian bill and make sure it passes, but can't get the other people to vote for a black bill to pass, an anti-hate black bill? How does that work? Somebody explain that to me. Because if I was a Congressional Black Caucus, I would say, wait a minute. No, we're not voting on any Asian bill, no Hispanic bill, no nothing, no woman bill, no nothing until we get this black bill passed. And that's what us in the new black media are trying to tell you guys. Okay? We got to be black first. You know, they're making these special classes. You've got members of the black community who are LGBTQ, which is fine. They figure by becoming and be a part of another protected class, they're not black anymore. No. Police don't shoot you down in the street and walk up to you and say, oh, by the way, what's your sexuality? They don't ask you that. They see that you're black and they shoot you down. Okay? And that's what they're doing. Somebody talk black to me like my girl Vicky Dillard always says. But if you look at it, they're talking about expanding access to the 21st century technology. That's everybody. Strengthening protections for workers. That's everybody. Expanding access to capital contracts and counseling for minority-owned businesses. That's everybody. Minorities. That could be black, Asian, Hispanic, women, LGBTQ, all of that. All these other groups take advantage and push themselves to the front of the line, and black people are least likely to do it. And this is what we're trying to do. And, you know, the incredible thing is people are starting to wake up, and it is scaring the hell out of the baby boomer generation. So I get into these discussions with my elders, and they're like, and my mom has some good points. And I always give the civil rights era people their due. I say it all the time. Nobody benefited from civil rights more so than the very people that fought it. That's not a negative. That's just factual. They benefited from the struggle that they had to fight. There's nothing wrong with that. What we're saying today is, if you are not going to be on code with us, sit down and shut up, because this isn't your fight. This is our fight. Because if we go back to when the civil rights era people were fighting their battle, what was their parents telling them? Wait your turn. Sit down. Don't cause no trouble down for Mr. Parker. Don't cause no trouble over there. You know what it is. Be on time. Don't go over there. Was not what their parents were telling them. Now they're telling us the same thing. Now, I would agree with them and I would listen to them if it wasn't for the fact that they have nothing, and I'm not generalizing, I know some people have something in our community. They have nothing to transfer generationally to the next generation, okay? And I'm talking as a whole. I'm not talking about that small group of black people that get it, okay, or that are successful. 70% of the black population lives at or near or below the poverty line. That's the numbers. Simple. 14% of the population identify themselves as black. These are the numbers, people. Go look it up. Google it. You got smartphones, damn it. 14% of the population identify themselves as black. But yet, when it comes to the negativity of the prisons and ticketing and all this other stuff, if you go to any county, any city, disproportionately black people don't match the numbers. We almost double the numbers as in regards to people being incarcerated, people ticketed for, let's say, loitering, just the simple thing. And this is their way of getting revenue and keeping black people as a permanent underclass. So where I'm going with this is this. Our parents were telling them to sit down. I'm telling our parents, this is our fight. Let us fight it. If you're not going to be on code with us, please sit down. Because if you have no generational wealth to transfer to your descendants, you are not in a position to tell me anything. Because if I don't fight now, my grandkids won't have anything. And they would have to fight and pick up this fight. And I don't want that. The civil rights, when we talk facts, it's been 60 years since the 1960s, correct? That's correct. Please name me something that the Democratic Party has done for black people specifically in 60 years. Nothing. Zero. But yet, Kamala Harris, who's in my generation, could say, I'm not going to do anything specifically for black people. No. But yet you did something specifically for Asians. But like I said, and I'm kind of confused because Kamala's black on a certain time and then she's not on a, so I don't know if she's black this week, but I'll look into that. And you also got to remember, Kamala Harris was overwhelmingly rejected by the black community during the Democratic primary. All this talk about her being the next presidential, that's not going to happen. You guys can say all you want, all the symbolism you want. It's not going to happen. Okay? It's not going to happen. If Hillary Clinton, a former Goldwater girl and the most qualified politician to ever run for the presidency, could get beat by one of the worst candidates and failed businessmen ever, you think Kamala Harris, with her record that is known in the black community, is going to win the presidency? I'll tell you what, if the Democrats do not deliver in these 4 years something substantial to the black community, you are going to see a mass exodus of black people out of the Democratic Party. And we're talking to young people. Baby boomers, God bless you. But again, by the numbers, you are no longer the majority of the people that are here because you guys are dying off. I mean, you guys are elder and you older, and that's fine. My mom told me the other day was, and she hates my show. I mean, she just hates it. But my mother told me the other day was this. She said, if it wasn't for the baby boomers and their sacrifices, we, me, myself included, and those of us that can be included, couldn't live the way that we're living. Okay, you're right. But here's my rebuttal to that. I didn't ask to be here. I didn't ask to come here. I'm here by circumstance. And by the way, for you guys that don't know, I actually believe only a few people are actually here by design. Okay? I believe the majority of people on this earth are here by circumstance. Because you cannot tell me 18, 19-year-old, 20-something-year-old people say, hey, this is a great time to have a baby, and they ain't got shit in their pocket. Okay, and I'm not saying that's for everybody, but you guys know what I'm talking about. I do not believe the majority of people on this planet are here because they were wanted at the time that they were conceived. Okay, most of us are here because of extra sexual activity. And that's the bottom line of it. And then in my parents' defense and in the baby boomers' defense, they weren't giving out condoms and birth control like they do today. A lot of sexual activity today is mostly reckless sexual activity. It's just reckless sexual activity. No thought to it. People are just doing it and blah, blah, blah. So, again, in their day, hey, you're a young person, you're doing what you're doing. No birth control is given because you're not married, so on, so on, and so forth. Things happen. Boom, here we are. Okay? So, that's my stance on that. So, again, I didn't ask to be here, so that argument by any baby boomer or any elder, to me, doesn't hold any weight. Because what you're saying is, because I asked to be here, I would agree if I had asked to be here, that for my parents to go out there and strive that living, that's on them. I didn't, that comes with responsibility. A responsible person is going to, do better for their children. I had children after Desert Storm baby, blah, blah, blah. I didn't show my responsibility. I had to do what I had to do to make a better life for them. My youngest son graduated college with no debt, such and such and such and such and such. I had to go without some things that I would like to have gone out with, but that's because I had responsibility. So that argument does not work. Human nature is you want your children to do better. But again, I tell my elders, and I basically shut them down. Do you guys realize white people in the baby boomer generation is going to transfer wealth of $67 trillion to their descendants? Baby boomer generation alone, $67 trillion. The black community, I think it's less than $6 trillion. Because that's how few of us there is. Okay? And let me get back to the numbers of the black people in the United States. 14% of us identify as black. Great. But out of that 14, only 8% of us are ADOS, or fundamental black. People that were born here since the inception of this country and were descendants of slaves. So, the numbers, you really got to do your homework and understand the numbers. Everybody else migrated here. Fundamental blacks, or ADOS, are the only group of people who came here, number one, under duress, against our will, and because of that, we cannot form a plan. When you talk to an African that came here from his country, and they always big up their country, well, in Nigeria, motherfucker, if Nigeria is so great, what the fuck are you doing here? But see, they big up their country, and I see where they're coming from, where they say, look at all of this opportunity, okay? Because they didn't have opportunity in their country. And they go get it. I went to Africa, and you could see the difference in how they come here and they go get it. Because where they're from, those opportunities aren't there. So they come here and they see all this opportunity and they take advantage of it. I'm not mad at them for that, but they need to acknowledge the fact that we opened the door for them. Do you guys realize a lot of Africans and people who migrate to the United States, they don't want to ally with black people? A lot of Africans themselves. And when I say they don't want to ally with us, what I mean, the continent of Africa suffers from tribalism. They're really big into their tribes and all that other shit and their history. Why would you want to deal with a problem that has nothing to do with you? So let's just imagine ADOS as a tribe within itself. We have no businesses. We have basically no wealth. We have $1.73 trillion that 90% of that we give away. So basically, the black community, basically, ADOS has no money. Why would anybody want, that's like Russia wanting to, you're fighting a war and you're fighting with a country that doesn't have an army. I'm not like downing Jamaica, but Jamaica doesn't have an army. They have police, but they don't have a standing army. And I need allies to fight a war. And that's what it's like. Why would I ally myself with a country or a group of people who have no soldiers? And that's what it's like. So these people come over here. So, these people come up, they don't want to ally with us. I mean, and there's a lot of proof of these groups that don't want to do that. Andrew Yang said in the primaries 2 years ago that he did the numbers. Black people, we're in trouble. You're in trouble. You will be out of wealth in 12 years. And that was before the pandemic hit. The pandemic hits, 40% of all black-owned businesses that we had are gone. So I challenge my elders, my baby boomers, how can you sit there and tell us to be patient, wait our turn, or whatever, and you have no wealth to transfer to us so that we can be patient and wait? The fact of the matter is we can't wait because we know there's no wealth to be transferred to us. If we don't act now as a people, we will be a permanent underclass, as Dr. Cress Welding has said. If we're not already a permanent underclass. Our black leaders, civil rights leaders, think about this. The Republican Party had a Speaker of the House, Tim Ryan. Tim Ryan is younger than me. He was Speaker of the House. The white man knows they gear their next generation to take over leadership and racism or whatever they're doing. Black community doesn't do that. You got this George Floyd bill everybody keeps talking about that has no teeth. I challenge you to say this, and please tell me if I'm wrong. What good is the George Floyd bill? Even T'Challa over here, the cat that's meowing, he's like, yeah. That meow was cat talk for fucking right. Thank you, T'Challa. But the George Floyd bill, what good is the George Floyd bill when you haven't repealed the 1994 crime bill, which was written and authored by Joe Biden? It was voted on by the majority of the members that are still in the Congressional Everybody Caucus. You have to repeal that bill first, because that is the bill that gives the police the authority and the incentive to lock black people up and fuck with them. That's read the bill. For every dollar that they spend incarcerating a person, the federal government will give them $1 and match it. You've got to get rid of the incentive. Oh, we got to get a George Floyd bill out here, whatever, and we got to do all this. Congressional Black Talkers page. All you see on their Facebook page is get the vaccine, get the vaccine. No statement in regards to George Floyd. No support in regards to Maxine Waters and her stance just before the verdict came down. So you guys tell me, who's crazy? We got more stuff done in the streets than these congressional everybody talkers have done sitting in those seats for over 30 years. Look how quick the formulation of the George Floyd bill came about because people were in the damn streets. And Maxine Waters agitated and said something that scared the bejesus out of the people in power. Because if one black leader would just say the quote, quote, right thing, it's about to pop off and they can't handle it. Where are our leaders like that? Like I said, my elders, my baby boomers, again, my civil rights freedom fighters, you guys had your day. And unfortunately, you dropped the baton. You did not continue the fight because now we have to pick up that baton because you didn't want to teach us nothing. You got people right now, you know goddamn good and well, because you didn't teach financial literacy. You can't put it on the schools. That shit needs to be taught at home. How to pay their property tax. Big mama got the house. You leave the house to your sons or whatever. They don't know they don't know what this bill is. They don't know what that bill, because you didn't teach them. You didn't teach them. I mean, this isn't rocket science, people. If the Democratic Party does not deliver something specific to the black community, there is going to be a mass exit out of the Democratic Party by these younger voters. These younger voters. Where is the audacity of the leadership? I'm not saying what civil rights people didn't do wasn't historic, but you can't be a freedom fighter and then join the oppressor and tell me you're an icon. That doesn't make sense. Please make it make sense. Bobby Rush, John Lewis, Karen Bass. You know, you keep telling us things are going to get better. And I'm going to shut my civil rights and my elders down. If what you did was so great, why are things that much worse? Why? You can't blame that on Generation Xers, your children. Why? Because you guys are still at the table of leadership. You won't leave. We got to carry you out in boxes. So you can't put that on us. You are sitting at the table, like you said. If we ain't at the table, you're going to be on the menu. Okay, you're at the table. But what are you doing there? Nothing. And things have gotten worse. But, like I said, it's just one of those things, I guess. Maybe I'm just super paranoid. Who knows? You know? But I'm Donovan Sadiq, you guys, and, you know, I'm unapologetic. Please check me out on the War Zone Monday through Friday, 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. So if you're in another time zone, do the math. We are a mathematic people. We built the pyramids, so don't tell me you don't know how to do math. You just got to practice. One thing about math is you have to practice, because I was terrible at math. And I had to re-educate myself, and I ended up going all the way up to trigonometry. And I'm fairly good at it. I stopped practicing, but that's what I need to do. Don't forget to check me out on Free Flow Fridays with my homie, Demetra K. That's on Fridays at 1 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And of course, I'm always with my homie, Demetra K, on the Demetra K Show on Sundays at 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Do the math. And you can check out my homie, Demetra K. I produce her. I own all her rights. She is on the African Diaspora News channel, as well as the Insider. Check her out on YouTube and Facebook. Hey, you guys, I'm Donovan Sadiq. I never seen a man cry till I seen a man die.